Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing
Today
over
is Christmas Eve day. No, Christmas Eve day, Christmas Day Eve.
there? Someone, I don't remember who it was, but someone on Facebook was posting like she and her husband were having this argument about it being Christmas Eve day versus Christmas Eve, and like it's Christmas Eve
It's Christmas Eve. All day it's Christmas Eve, right?
all day on the 24th.
Well, if you watched Friends, yesterday was Christmas Eve Eve. So yeah.
Christmas Eve Eve. Okay.
Yeah, it's Christmas Eve Eve. Makes total sense. Absolutely.
Either I missed that episode or I've just
Blocked
blocked
it.
it out of my memory.
Well, in fairness, it's been a really long time. So
So, I wore what I'm wearing today just to show you.
ooh, look how beautiful.
So, Chief Francisco gifted me this yesterday or Sunday at Sweat Lodge. I feel like
Wow.
I'm becoming more and more official every day.
That's beautiful. That's gorgeous. What material is it?
No, it's beaded, so it's
Oh, it's
it's
all beads. Beautiful.
someone from um I don't know who, someone he knows does these, and I love, he wears like the beaded earrings. He has different beaded things that he
Yeah.
wears, and
Yeah.
um so he had this one specially made for me.
Very cool.
I feel very honored.
That is
And
nice.
I have to talk a little bit about the Sweat Lodge on Sunday because it was over the top.
Ooh, why was it over the
Yeah,
top? Tell me.
we had the most people that we've had for a Sweat Lodge. So, it's we talked about in the beginning, like, how do we fit more in? Someone said it's like, the when you see the clowns getting out of the VW
The
Beetle, like
car.
like you don't think that many can fit in there, but somehow they all do. And so we had the 2 rows, and I'm like, I hope never have to be in that first row because
I remember you've said it. Yeah.
I can barely tolerate the intensity. Although it is weird to me when I do pour the water. I'm sitting right next to the rocks, and I swear, like, spirit puts a bubble over me because I don't even feel it. But in the
Amazing.
back, I'm like, I'm dying.
So where
But
did you end up sitting in the back or in the front row?
so I only sat in the front row for the second door when I poured the water, and the 2 elders were there again, the ones that were there when I sang a song for the first time. And this time when I sang the song, like, because I had it from the get-go, but then everybody like joined in and they were singing it like around, and it was just like the whole Sweat Lodge was just filled with this beautiful magical energy of the water song. And
Beautiful.
so it felt extra special good. And then even, I don't know if I don't think I shared here on the show, but Chief had told me, when we started this whole process, that there would be men, like, it wasn't nothing personal against me, but there would be men that wouldn't sit when I was pouring water because it's not part of their tradition. Men sit when men are pouring water, and women sit when women pour water. And but yesterday, one of those men who said he wouldn't sit when I was pouring water sat while I poured water. And he even came up to me after the ceremony was done and complimented me on how well that I did. And,
Wow.
he explained that, he wasn't going to sit because I was pouring, but then Chief and he talked and he explained how, like, I have to learn, and the only way for me to learn is to be there and pour water. And
Yeah.
so he said he understood that, and he said he was very surprised at how well I did with my portion
Wow.
of the Sweat Lodge.
That's amazing. That is the coolest. Unbelievable. Unbelievable and yet not surprising at all. Do you know what I mean? Like I think that's part of your gift is having men and women come together, gender like not an issue, like, just come and be, and just be yourself. So
Yeah.
that's incredible.
The other beautiful thing too that someone mentioned during the ceremony is like, you'll love this, the diversity of our ceremonies, because there's all ages, all ethnicities, people coming from all different spiritual backgrounds,
Mm,
and we all come and sit together as family, and it's just beautiful.
yeah. And I love that it's like it's a non-denominational thing, you can hold on to all of your beliefs and do whatever it is that you do and still have this amazing experience.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Very
You see,
cool.
I'm
Very
outside today.
well, let's see. No, I took the morning off, but I will tell you that yesterday, we used I used my ice scraper to scrape my windshield. Um, so I am in ice scraper territory. And then, brushing it off, and it's just adorable and, whatnot. It is cold though. It is darn cold. Um, yeah, but I'm getting used to it. I'm only wearing, let's see, one, two, three, only 4 to 5 layers now. So we're good. We're good. It's great. It's
Oh man, I love it. So yeah, it's a beautiful 65 here in Fort Lauderdale, and so I decided to bring the computer outdoors, and I'm struggling a little bit with the sun and trying to get the lighting, and I wanted more of the lush background of my yard, but the way the sun is right now, it's like any other seat that I sit to give you
right,
that view.
right.
The sun was like blinding me. So you get the view of the back of my house, but it's okay.
It's very light and airy and beautiful, and I love your lighting, so it's good. So what do we got today?
So today we're talking about journaling and how do you feel
Mm.
about it, and do you have an alternative? So I love tell us your journaling story about how like you never wrote in the books and then
Oh gosh. Oh, yeah. That feels like a lifetime ago. Let's see if I can spin around a little bit. Like all that, these back here, they're all journals. And I have like, hold on, I'm coming. I have like Carpe Noctem, and I have this one, and I
ooh.
have, oh, but wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. Yeah, I'm sorry if you're just listening to this on like a podcast platform. Ooh, check that out.
Look at
Steampunk
that
all the
one. It
way.
has a little whistle. It has a compass. It's got that whole little like steampunk, and it's got
Nice.
these cool pages.
Yeah.
Um, Hold on. There's another one that you would like. Oh, I see it. Hang on, hang on. Totally worth the visual. Hang on, hang on. You brought up journals. This is one of my addictions. I got this one with a cool clasp, and I got, look at this one.
The eye. Nice.
Isn't that cool? So
Yeah.
you can see I'm definitely a journal collector. And the story is that I've been collecting these for years and years and years. And I always struggled with, what do I even write in it? Like, could my words ever be worthy enough to write on these types of pages? Like, these are handmade paper. I don't know. When I think of handmade paper, I think of like, I don't know, papyrus. You know what I
Right?
mean? I think of something like really ancient.
Ancient Egyptian
Really,
scrolls. It must
right,
contain the most
right. That must,
profound spiritual wisdom ever.
right. And then, and actually, now that you say that, we have seen scrolls and whatnot that contain like, a grocery shopping list. Like, we need 2 chickens and 1 cow, and it's like, oh yeah, when you think of people writing back in the day, you think it was something sacred. But in truth, I'm sure they wrote down everything,
The honeydew
but
list and the grocery
yeah, right.
shopping list.
Right. They probably shredded the lists, which is why we don't see much of them. And they kept the secret things, which totally makes sense. But because of that, I always had this idea in my head that, like, man, your words have to be really worthy, really poetic, really amazing. Right. And then, and I'm telling you, this is like a lifelong obsession. Like, I literally have crap like this because I want to, like,
Ooh.
write amazing things. Right. Anyway, the year I started drinking cacao, I just had such a flush of creativity and openness. And anyway, the point is, I had so much to say built up, and cacao really opened that door for me that I absolutely went gangbusters. And I started in writing in every single journal. This one is one of my favorite ones. And it's like, it has real words in it, and it's one of those pretty paper ones. What I have found is I compartmentalize. So one journal is for one type of thoughts and the other journal is for other type of thoughts. I mean, I am still me. It's like a journal spreadsheet. Don't think that I still don't think like that. But like when I have let's say experiences, I will put them in here. When I need to work something out, I will put them in here, and that way, like every time I have a Reiki session, I'll put it in this one, right? Or like I have another one that's got a little tree on it. And so every time I do a forest bathing
Ooh.
experience, right, I put it in this one.
I love
I keep
that.
my notes in here and my little journals, or my little poems and things like that I refer to. So really for me, journaling, it's not a daily habit for me. It's not. When I do my 369, then I guess it's like mini journaling because it is just like a little page, but it's not free flow. It's more intentional of what I'm writing. But when the mood strikes me and I have the correct book, then yeah, journaling can be really a great exercise just to kind of go through my thoughts, organize things a little bit. What's your practice?
Well, as you were saying this, I just have to point out that we have life BC and life AC. And so BC doesn't mean before Christ. BC means before cacao. And
True.
AC is after cacao.
True.
Um, so I go through phases. Like there's times where I am just so pulled to journal and I will be journaling every day. And a lot of times for me, it's like automatic writing or writing down like the downloads that are coming to me. And then I just get to a space where like I need a break from it for a while. And so I stop. Yes, I am a 369er, and that is also something that I do for a while. And then like I feel like it becomes like just so automatic that it kind of loses a little bit of its intentionality. And so then I like take a break from it and wait till I'm in that space where it's like, okay, time to get manifesting on life, and then I'll start doing it again. And I showed you that one. I was even in this phase where I was thinking where I wasn't going to buy the actual specific 369 journals anymore, and that I was just going to do it in whatever journal I wanted to. But then I came across like this super fancy, nice one. And so like there's a piece of me like, this is dumb, but there's the other piece of me that's like, yes, we're going to do this, that
Yeah.
it's going to be the beginning of 2025 for me. I'm going to start with my fancy 369 journal. And part of that comes from like getting a little bit more clarity on what direction I'm going and what I want to happen in the world and in my life, I should say. So yeah, that's the intention there. And I like as a kid, like I wrote in my diary a lot.
Oh
When I
yeah.
was an exchange student, I wrote every single day, like what I did that day. So that exchange year for me, like every once in a while I'll go back and I'll find that journal and like, so today in 1986, what was I doing in Caracas,
Nice.
Venezuela?
Okay.
And that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Other journals, I don't keep all of mine. Sometimes it's like, okay, this journal's complete and it's time to offer it to the fire and let it go into because it's like the smoke is prayer, and
Mhm.
it's all released to creator, source, universe. And
Mhm. Yeah, now that you mentioned writing in your diary when you were a kid, I remember I used to have a Hello Kitty diary and I would write in it, dear diary. And then one day my mom found my diary and read it and then confronted me about it. And that was like key violation, like numero uno. I will never write anything down again. Um,
I've heard
and
a lot of people like have that experience that someone found
yeah,
their diary, their journal, and they
and it
felt
like
so
ruined.
violated that they stopped doing it. And
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that, right, that's not limited to kids. That's everybody. So it does take a lot of courage to come back to it, and to feel safe enough to write. And I suppose if you truly feel unsafe, you could write, because I do think there's something physical about using your hand, that you could write it and burn it immediately. Um, and what are some journaling alternatives? I personally enjoy a good walk around my property talking out loud. you know I don't know what the neighbors think, but I feel pretty good about it sometimes. Not in this weather, not right now. Although I will say the cold does tend to like really wake you up and get you focused, like hurry up. So if you're not a writer, or if you can't write, or you're not free to write or whatnot, what are some alternatives? And I think walking and kind of just what we used to call brainstorming, right? Where you would just throw everything out. Our friend Rebecca had, she gave us such a good practice. Let me see. It's in one of my journals. And I think she's posted this, she is, what's the name of her? I can't remember the name of her business. Um,
yeah,
oh, darn it. Sorry, Rebecca. All right. We'll post it in the comments when I find it. I just think Rebecca is what I think. But it is to set the intention to hear from your guides, to light a candle and incense, take some deep breaths, found it, and place some crystals for the crown, third eye, and throat chakras in your left hand, which is your receiving hand. Grab a pen and a journal while holding the crystals, and then address your higher self for guides and ask your question on paper. Write down what pops into your mind. And then after a bit, thank your higher self or your guides for their support. And really, once you like stop putting conditions on your mind, right, which I'm absolutely famous for, because God knows if I've picked up the right journal, am I allowed to think these thoughts with the right journal? But when you free your mind, it's really interesting what flows.
absolutely. So shout out to Tracy out there. She's checking us out. Um
Oh,
and that picture is a Florencia picture.
it's a
And
painting.
yes, it's a
Yes.
painting. Yeah.
It's a painting. It is. Look at, isn't that gorgeous? Thank you. So thank you for asking. And I'm going to tell you the story because I think it's really, I purchased it because of how passionate I am about the message. It's called Not Broken. And if you see, she's got this gold on her face, and there is, it's in reference to the Japanese art of kintsugi, which is when pottery breaks and they weld it back together using gold. So the item is actually more beautiful, more valuable, more beautiful, because it has been repaired. And I just absolutely love that concept so much. And I just love the intensity in her eyes. And yeah, shout out to Florencia, my amazing, amazing artist friend who I miss. I miss all you guys.
We miss you too, and we miss the studio. And
Right.
but super excited. You know, you emailed me today your schedule because you have your new studio space, and super jealous that I can't attend the speakeasies and the movie nights and all of the good stuff. And you know, now you're going to be doing the cacao ceremonies up there and chakra balancing and all your sound baths. I'm like, wow.
You know,
Full
I just
time.
I love knowing that I will be doing them here while you are doing them there. And that, you know, in the words of the great little Fievel, somewhere out there. No. You know what? I think it's really cool. When I was moving up here and everybody was like, "Oh, I can't believe you're leaving." I kept on saying, you know, I really feel like this is going to be a destination. And I said that a million times before I left. And now that I'm here, I have gotten to know so many local businesses and so many people here that there are people, you know, they're absolutely magical in their own different ways. And I'm so excited to put together, like, come to this area, you know. So well, our first step is the June retreat. You know, the June retreat is only an hour from here. It's in summer, so it is absolutely one of the most gorgeous times of year. I think did I ever tell you that I was eating plums off of a tree at the retreat center? Like, and I have videos of myself, but I can't bear to post pictures of me chewing. I'm like, all right, it's a little much. It's a little much, but it's just such a gorgeous area, and the trees and the water. I don't know how else to say it. It's absolutely so magical. I really, really recommend y'all coming up for this retreat. And if we have interest, if you guys want to come back to my place after the retreat, see my town, come visit, you know, all the cool things that we have here, it's open.
We'll make it happen. Yeah,
It'll be fun.
absolutely. Yeah, when you were talking about eating plums off the trees, my mango has started, like the
Oh boy.
blooms are starting.
Oh
And
boy.
that was one of my requests for the Sweat Lodge, that everybody pray for the mango tree. And, you know, because this will be the third year that it's producing fruit. It's still kind of a
A baby.
smallish tree. I mean, it's at least as tall as the house now, but you know, the first year I got 9 mangoes off of it, and last year I got 12 mangoes off of it. And
Wow.
so my hope is that this year there's more mangoes than I can count, so that when people come to the Sweat Lodge, we can share and enjoy that fruit. And I've been talking to the tree and massaging its leaves. And
There you go.
so someone, oh, it was our friend Vicky, I think, that told me that, like, if you touch the plants that are producing food for you, if you touch them, it like receives like the genetic information of like what's going on in your body, and it will specifically
Mm.
produce fruit that will be beneficial to you and help heal you.
Yeah, that
And
absolutely makes sense. I saw one research study that said that they took house plants and they monitored the house plants and the humans and their distance apart. And as the humans got closer to the house plants, but when I say closer, I mean it was something like 200 yards
kilometers,
away, right? What is it?
kilometers,
Kilometers. Yeah, what's a kilometer? But like really, really far, like ridiculously far
almost
away,
a mile away,
right?
almost a mile.
The plants perked up and the plants like responded to you getting closer. I think
My humans arriving.
yeah, I think as you know, a society, we've cut ourselves off so much from the magic that's all over. It really is. I just read a quote the other day. I can't remember who said it, but it was like, um, we have gotten so accustomed to all the miracles around us all the time that we don't even think about them. But the truth is that they are, and it really is amazing. And you know, all of these plants and all of these things were meant to live symbiotically. This is my plug for Braiding Sweetgrass. If you have not read it, please buy it. It will absolutely change your life. I'm now reading Serviceberry, and it's her latest publication, and it is just as beautiful and poetically written. I mean, I'm a pretty solid reader, and so far her words, the way that she crafts them, I
Yeah.
think I just I haven't read anyone else. And like I've read. Like,
Yes, I agree with you. Like she has a very special way of weaving together words that it's a pleasure to read them.
it
I
is a
like it's
pleasure.
easy, it's smooth, it's beautiful. Sometimes I'm reading books and it's like it's a struggle and you're like if I have to sit with a dictionary and look up words, I'm like, "Ugh, what does that mean?" Like, okay, I don't care what it means. I'm just going to keep going. And yeah, I haven't ordered the book yet, but it's definitely on my list of things to do on Amazon.
It's
To
a
check
sweet
off this
little
like,
book. It's tiny. It's not a big one.
oh, okay.
But no, yeah, it's too far for me to go run and get it, but it's small and big print, and it's just like it's a little size. But it's delicious. Like it's like gourmet, right? Like when you go to a gourmet restaurant, how they serve you like an ounce of something, but it's like the best 1 ounce of whatever it is. It's like that.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
all good. Yesterday, I walked into our local bookstore. Oh my gosh, wait. Narrative bookstore. It is the cutest place ever. Everything here is so adorable. Um, anyway, yeah, they're just really, really cool. And they have book club. Like, when was the last time I even saw a book club, outside of Body and Soul, right?
Yeah.
And they sell albums, and they have these cool candles that one of them says like new book smell, and then the other one is like last chapter blues. Fucking
Aw.
hysterical. And then the third one that I saw, I'm gonna post these later, but it said it started at the book fair. Which is so true. Scholastic is my absolute yeah, just weakness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hand me a little 2-page flyer with pictures of books. I'm all over it. You had that, right? Did you grow up with the Scholastic Book Fair?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
No, and I remember like it was a big deal. Um, Growing up, my parents worked hard for, to get by and um like it was a big deal to be able to pick out and buy an actual book as opposed to like, going buying used books or
Going to the
receiving them as
library.
gifts for some or checking them out of the library. So to actually be able to buy a book back when I was a kid was a big deal.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I remember like feeling the disappointment of wanting every single book, not being able to get them all. But
Yeah.
my mom was a huge, huge reader. Like you never saw my mom without at least one book. And like she always had the big purse because you had to have room for the book because,
Right.
like she was never one to complain about waiting anywhere because that was just more time to read the book. And
Yeah. Yeah.
um
Yeah.
so
I'm
yeah.
right there. And my kids are the same. And what's interesting is that this little bookstore, they buy books. So I said, well, that's really interesting because I have all my kids' books and they're not overly attached to them. My daughter a little bit more so than my son. But because I homeschooled my kids, a lot of my books I have in triplicate because we would read together, the three of us. So I'm like, maybe I will contribute, like you'll never catch me putting a book in Goodwill. I'd rather be buried with it. Like I'm not letting it go to some pile where it gets moldy and horrible and whatever. I will donate it to a place that I know people are going to get it and love it, but I'm not just going to throw it in the big pile. And for locals that might be listening, I don't know how your Goodwill is here or if there even is one, but we had some Goodwills that I walked in and I saw like mountains of donated items that there's no way anyone was ever going to go through them. Like we're talking bulldozer piles. And it's a shame because those things go bad. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So I might be letting some of the books go to, good families and whatnot. So we'll see.
What I've done a lot too with, so many of my books are more spiritual kinds of books. And there was the ones that from early on when I started diving into this realm, however many cajillion years ago that was. And like some of those books, like I held on to them because like they were, they were so important to my growth. And then it got to the moment where I realized like I didn't need those books anymore, but somebody else did to start on their path. And so
Right.
I started, just handing them out. And there have been times too where there's been books where I'm like, I'm having a conversation with someone and it's like, oh my God, they need this book and I have it right here. I'm just going to give it to them to make sure that they read this book. And I'm like, and if it ever comes that I feel like I need that book again, I'll just buy it again.
Right.
But I just feel joy in sharing books. And I also have a treasure of I had a friend who had a new age bookstore where they would buy people's used books and then
Oh,
sell them. But when they closed their shop, they were like, they were closing and leaving town. And so they had like these boxes of books and it was like, pick a box and, for $5, you can have this entire box of books. But what's so fun is like so many of these books are books that were written in the 40s and 50s and 60s. And like I'll pick them up and read them and it's like the content in here is no different than the spiritual books that are being written today. Like, a lot of times they call it new age and it ain't new. It's been here forever.
yeah.
And so every once in a while I grab one of those and it's kind of, I feel like it's like time traveling too, and the recognition that time isn't real. And even though that book was written then, the book was also written now, and
Right.
everything's now. And
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's beautiful. You reminded me when I was probably in high school, there was a like, I don't know what it was called. I don't know. You know how like your kid brain interprets things and who knows what it was really, but I think it was some sort of like school system surplus or county surplus. And you could go and buy like a filing cabinet or a school desk. Like we were three kids. My mom bought us all desks just like in school, and she would make us sit down and do our homework there. I think it was probably just to control us because we were insane and drove her mad. But so if we sat in the same chair that we had in school, it felt very official. But you could buy stuff like that, and they had tons of books. And I remember buying 10 books for $1. But they were like high school books, so they were important, great books. Like I mean, it was just really, really interesting. I'm kind of glad I don't know where that place is today.
oh.
So all good.
All right, we've been talking a long while here, so people need to get on with their festivity preparation, and we both got stuff to do too.
We do. I will tell you, I am taking the day off. My partner is doing the cooking. He's got some stuff planned. I'm very excited about that. So I may just spend my day doing some reading. And yeah, as a matter of fact, on deck is Wintering.
What does the rest of it say?
Wintering, The Power of Rest and Retreat in Difficult Times by Catherine May. So, I read like 3 books at a time. So I got that one, and I got On Our Best Behavior. That one I'm working on as well. The 7 Deadly Sins and the Price Women Pay to Be Good. So lots of fun.
Yes. All right. Well, with that, I think we'll let everybody go. And I want to wish everybody a magical day.
All right. See you later.